sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
You're mad. Mad at me because I don't trust you. Are you out of your mind? You lied. You betrayed. You manipulated. And now you've got the audacity to act like I'm the problem? I'm supposed to forget all that? Hand my trust back like some naive fool? No way. And here we go.
Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? I am super excited for tonight. I got DAGO backstage. This is a long time coming, and we are going to be diving into the Idaho 4 case. If this is your first time tuning into the Hive Mind, I'm your host, Birdie. I go live every weeknight at 7 p.m. Central. This is a contrarian thinking live stream. So if you're easily rattled or if you're offended on behalf of others, you're not going to like me. You're not going to like some of the guests. You're not going to like people to chat because we like to think past the headlines. However, if you are the tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist in your friend group, you have found your people. You are amongst friends. Thank you for being here. This evening, our theme is going to be surrounded, or I guess I should say, our theme is going to be really diving into why is a surviving witness saying all of these things time and time again. There's very specific references. There's very just random references. There's things that don't make any sense. Confusion, yet specific. And in the public eye, we are told credible and a victim. And don't question it. How dare you? And we're going to be getting into that this evening. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say what's up to everybody, and then I'm going to get DAGO up here so we got as much time as possible. But before I do that, Hive, oh, man, your boy messed up. And it's like on the Taj Mahal being in Russia level of mess up. And I just want to clear the air because I saw people on X. I saw people on YouTube saying this. I had one of the biggest misunderstandings that I may have ever had in my life in a phone conversation with the custody queens about the lawyer you know. There is one of 6, like an elite appellate attorney that is going to be in the Hive. But when I was referencing the lawyer you know, Kristen and Sam were thinking that I'm using a phrase of speech like, yeah, the lawyer you know. I'm thinking it's the lawyer you know. So I'm Googling it. I'm typing in the lawyer you know, and I'm typing in the first name. And I'm like, what the? Like, is this the guy, right? And then it was just a giant cluster. So I apologize. Here I am thinking like, oh my God, I didn't even know. They're telling me that they employ this man. And I thought to myself, that is crazy. I had no idea. My mind's blown. I'm telling my wife about it. I'm telling, telling you guys about it. I'm like, this is nuts. But no, so it's going to be a different lawyer. His name's Ron, still a stud, still going to have an epic stream. But I just want you guys to know that I am so sorry for that. And my reaction was that of kind of embarrassment, kind of laughing, kind of, I can't believe that just happened. How did I not understand that they thought I was just using that as a phrase of speech? But like LA Mike said, Ron is still going to kick ass. I'm stoked to have him on, and it's gonna be a great stream. It's gonna be super informative. But that'll be next Wednesday. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that I said that. I was gonna say that last night, but that stream just went 0 to 1 million about as fast as it could have. So, nonetheless, we had Ellie Mike in here. We had Jessa. That's right, shit does happen. We got Vonda, Blue Eyed Candy. What's up, Haley Mucket Bus, Stargaze, Seahawks fan, Cats Mojo. Good to see you, Fiona, SRB. Last 24 on the mic. How are you doing, Harper? Not Lamey Jamie. Yeah. Shoe Girl, how are you doing? Karen, UK Karen, good to see you. Luna Bliss, Growth Renewal, Moto Man, UFO Dog, how are you doing? Shout out to my mods. Crime Spy, Crowned, Gang Gang, Fish Cake. I got to say this, even though I just said what's up to UFO Dog, because I feel like it's a test every stream. Dino in the hizzy for shizzy and the rizzy getting tizzy, feeling kizzy in the mizzy. I nailed that one. You got to step it up tomorrow night. Cat K642, how are you doing? Laura, Philly, RJ Anderson, Truth Seeker. Caleb says, no apologies. What's up, Rowan? Germelia, Senor Wazowski, how are you doing? Monkey Lady, Anonymous Reckoning, Jules, Proby Proud, Wonder Woman, Carolina, Cat K, Tara B, Majestic, Smiling Sleuth, great to see you. Nikki, Curious Cat, B is for Becca, Cryptic Conversions, Mimi La Angel. What's up, Brandon and Crime Tourist, Intuitively Irish, Grace, Rachel, who lives near the ice wall, Tomboy, Latitude, Truth Seeker, Kathy, Melanie, Big B, Carrie Scott, Gen X Gen, 1984, Discord, Dom, what up, D-Dog, Wifey, Mississippi Woman, Seahawks fan, Go Pack, Crime Spy, Tom Rose, what up, tuning in from Norway, Just Neo, Southern Bluebell says, Birdie, the husband is awakening. Once I told him about the Othram sample doubling in size, he heard about the DNA company helping solve crimes. And when I explained the touch DNA, he was like, wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. Barbie's 3000 says, following you for months, but first time saying hello. Love you, Birdie. Well, thank you, Barbies. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate anybody that has tuned in for months, whether it be on TikTok or since I've started this YouTube journey. Type of 1, if this is your first time tuning into the Hive, we will welcome you with open arms. Lisa says, Lions all day, baby. Dina Sites, good to see you. Ricky. Ricky, it's not your first time. You've been living in the air conditioner. Amanda B from West Virginia says 420. Chelsea Jackson, good to see you as well. Caleb, what's Gucci, my Louie? That's right. Welcome, newbies. And real quick, y'all, before I go ahead and I bring up Dago so that I can give him a chance to plug his channel uninterrupted, just let's take 5 seconds here. Let's all hit that like button. We already got over 500 people in this stream. We only got about 200 likes. Let's get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Come on, Hive. People are asking where Sherlock is for 10 days. You know, I was sick over the weekend. I didn't see the first comment about him not posting until yesterday. So, you know what? I do have his email. I'm going to make a note. I will send him an email this evening. Writing Sherlock, okay, with a question mark. And Blue Eyed Candy, thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, I hope he's all right. And James Moen, thank you so much for the super sticker. Drew Bledsoe says, have fun, boys. Go get the truth. Don't forget to tip your host. Greenest Puppet, Master Loach, Showalter, and Rosie are guilty. Man, Drew Bledsoe has been living and dying on that hill. Real quick, any super chat or a tip, my host will drop the tip link, or not my host, sorry. My mods will drop the tip link. Those will pop up right here. I'll address those right away. That works for the super chats and for the tips. Obviously, anything is appreciated as all of these streams are kept free. And also, thank you, Luna. I'll get you guys an update from Sherlock if I hear back. Hopefully I do. As a quick reminder, because my birdieBombshell00@gmail.com is no longer taking Hive Mind fines, although a lot of people are still sending it to that, which that could be for a handful of reasons, whether they're watching an older video. Please, birdieshivemind@gmail.com. If you are not in the Discord for any Hive Mind fines, tips, oddities, things that you find, theories, send them to birdieshivemind@gmail.com, please. Otherwise, you can join our Discord. The Discord is always popping off. That link is in my YouTube channel bio. And now, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring up DAGO. He's backstage. What is going on, DAGO? How are you doing?
What's up, brother? How are you tonight? Good to see you, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Long time coming, dude. Long time coming.
Oh, super long time coming. And I've said before on the stream, like I would watch you on YouTube when I was over on TikTok, like before I started posting on TikTok.
Yeah.
It would pop up and I'd watch it. And
I've been around for a little while, just a little while.
Yeah. And if you want to real quick, just tell people where they can find you if they don't know who you are. I know obviously you're one of the OGs, but I got your YouTube channel page pulled up here. Is there anywhere else people can find you, or is that your main platform?
My main platform is YouTube. I have TikTok. I have a Facebook page. We have a X, Twitter, whatever you call it. I can't get used to that. And I don't want to get used to that. But yeah, we have little connects everywhere. I don't really play with the Facebook stuff and other stuff a lot. Brady B runs my TikTok stuff and all that fun stuff. So. But the YouTube is my main platform. That's where I run most everything. So,
yeah, man, that's awesome. And you know, I know the reason, but if there's people that haven't tuned into you, you know, you've been covering this case from day one, right from the jump.
Day one, yes, sir.
What was it about the Idaho 4 case? You said you've been covering other cases. You've never seen something like this case.
No.
What was it specifically about this one that was like, oh my God, I can't?
Well, I've covered like the Kylie Rodney case, of course, years ago, many other cases like that, Summer Wells, Sebastian Rogers. This one, though, I haven't not been able to get away from it. I think it was initially, first off, that's, 4 people. That's a lot. And then I think it was the 8-hour period of time with nobody calling police is what like stuck me. You know what I'm saying? It like grabbed me and locked me in. And then when they dropped the toilet paper roll, and we all went through that, and I noticed all the BS that was in the PCA, and I said, guys, what's up with this? And from that point forward, it just got worse and worse and worse. And every time, my channel covers all the documents, all the reports, all the videos, all the pictures. That's what we look at, every bit of it. So every time something new came out, there was no questions answered. There was more questions presented. So, and then the plea deal happened. And a lot of people have said, well, he's done. He's in prison now. That's the reason why I'm still going, because there's too many things about this lack of investigation in this case that makes me stick to this. So that's why I've nonstop been running it.
Well, and I think a lot of people feel the same way you do, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just confusing. There's something about it that you can't let your mind off of it, because you're just like, something has to click. There is got to be a way to look at this where this will all make sense. And yet there are so many documents, so much security footage, so much audio, so many interviews, so many press conferences, court hearings. None of this shit makes any sense, dude.
None of it. Not even the only thing I've said to my community and anybody that I've talked to about this is the only thing that makes sense, and the only thing I can call an absolute truth is that this happened on November 13th of 2022. That's it. That's it for this, as far as I'm concerned. They have not told us truth on anything else, in my opinion. And it's just insane to me. So, absolutely.
Well, That's a good way to put it. And I think that, and by the way, I'm just going to, Taylor, thank you so much for the super chat. Monday, y'all were talking about how much blood there would be. 4 years ago, my work removed safety features on a machine. 3 of my fingers got ripped off. Holy hell. The amount of blood at the scene would shock you. Well, and you know what? Speaking of blood and all that, just the sound, Dylan and Bethany not knowing for the 8 hours, the crime scene photos. You look at that. I'm sorry. It's in addition to Ann Taylor referencing a cleanup. I don't think Ann Taylor's ever said something. I have yet to find something that Ann Taylor has said where she doesn't have the receipts for it in some way, shape, or form.
Yep. And she won't say something. Ann Taylor, I've said this many a times on my channel. Ann Taylor won't make a statement or ask a question, in my opinion, without knowing the answer first. And she's done that through this whole case, in my opinion. So, agreed.
Well, and one of the things about Ann Taylor, oh man, I feel bad saying this because I've not been an Ann Taylor hater. I've been like an Ann Taylor critic when it comes to
I understand.
like somebody who's putting on a show and getting you to believe a story. And,
Sure.
and while yes, I understand it's not like the trial and maybe there's lawyer like a code of conduct, unwritten rules, how you go about it, man. To see this not even get to a trial and have Hitler just mumble and bumble while you're talking and interrupt you and throw you off your course of thought is got to be maddening. I mean,
most definitely, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And Taylor also just said, then I would love to send pics on Discord for reference if anyone's interested for morbid curiosity purposes. Christ. Well, I mean, it will probably give a really good example of how much fingers bleed. Like fingers bleed a ton, heads bleed a lot.
Yes,
like
they do.
Right around the eye. You ever seen like a UFC fight? Someone catches an elbow to the eyebrow.
I've seen it all, dude. I retired as a first responder for 17 years, and I've seen it. Like, yeah, you ain't lying. Yeah. You ain't lying. Fingers will bleed a lot. I've never really truly understood. I think it's because of the way we're created and things like that. So yeah.
Right. And LA Mike, thank you for the super chat as well. So the good news, and this is a quote. So the good news is I just told you everything I remember. The bad news, I don't know if any of it is true. Pretty much. And okay, that's a great segue into what we were talking about backstage, Dago. And that is, we're going to talk about Dylan and this soundbite that's going bananas right now. I think Lana was the first one to get it with a FOIA request, and that's where this Freudian slip of what sounds like Homeland Security.
We've all listened to it, and I don't think anybody caught it until Lana caught it. I was listening to it with my mods in Discord. I'm like, wait, what? Where'd this come from? We went through this. So it's wild.
And dude, like my brain, I was also saying like, it's a good topic because my conspiracy brain could go bananas with this, where I'm like, see, now what else have we missed?
Of course. That's why I've been going back, which I got to pick it back up. I know before anybody says anything, I've been going back through all the hearings from the beginning, and I'm like, what did we miss? What could we have seen or not seen that was out there that, I watched them, but you don't watch every single thing. So you gotta watch it all.
Or you're thinking about something that was said because it kind of sounded weird. Maybe you didn't hear it. I mean, the other part too is like those cameras sucked ass.
Yes.
And the audio was off. Like it was just weird.
As much as I don't do the whole, I'm 50-50 conspiracy, and I'm telling you, I swear they did that on purpose, bro. Swear they did it on purpose, that we didn't catch things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it makes it easier to manipulate. That's for sure. When you don't have like super high quality, 1080p crystal clear sound, you don't hear the pops in the mic. You don't see the glitches. You don't see the scene transitions. If they did that, of course,
100%.
But man, so in general, before we get into this clip, because I have like the clip where the Freudian slip, what I'm calling the Freudian slip, happens. Let's just, before we play that, let's talk about everything leading up to prior to us noticing this. Okay. So let's name some things in chat and Hive. You guys, please put some stuff in there. I'll put them up on the screen. So let's address the obvious. An 8-hour delay. Not hearing anything. Bushy eyebrows that she said or didn't say.
Clad in black.
Seeing Xana on the floor, yet originally saying she thought it was Kaylee in the bathroom.
Right. The vacuum cleaner.
The vacuum cleaner. I'm trying to look at the chat here.
Sorry.
See what people. No. Please keep rattling them off.
There's many of them. I mean, the naked guy running from the house.
She never slept. Frozen shock phase.
Right. Firefighter. All of that stuff. All of it.
Well, dude, and like, you know what? Speaking of that, one of my first theories on TikTok was this welder theory. And I'm going off of what she said. And now I look back and I'm like, that was pieced together by her account.
Yes.
It's kind of funny when I go back, funny, right? When I go back and I look at that, I'm like, I'm working within the confines of a bunch of BS.
Of course.
You know?
So much of it.
A lot of people think they weren't there, but and then
I know.
One
of the funniest things with the eyebrow thing is that it's in all the interviews we've gone through with her, she's never talked about that, but there's photographs on her wall of big bushy ass eyebrows, and it's like, what is going on? You know what I mean? These are a mess. It's too much. It's too much.
I can't, and I'm sorry, because this is for somebody from the Hive that said this.
Mm-hmm.
It was either a comment that I had on screen or it was during our last call in. They had said, if Dylan is questioning if she can't remember if it's a dream, and she's saying things that sound like it's ridiculous, at what point do you kind of fight fire with ridiculous questions back to that? Like, well, if you're not sure if you were awake or if you're dreaming or if it's Vampire Diaries, like, did you kill them? Right?
Thank you. Yes, exactly. 100% right. Like she said, okay, I got to say this here, dude. One of the statements she made, I go on about this constantly in my community. Constantly. It drives me nuts. In her one interview we're going through, I had to stop it 5 times. And I said, what did she just say? And I backed it up, said it again. I think that's what happened, or I'm not sure. Maybe it's my mind making it up so that I'll remember it. And I said, what? And there's a lot of statements that she makes like that. What are you talking about? It's crazy.
Well, in addition to that, you got the "I'm here to help you" in a voice that was kind of weird. I don't know. I'd never heard it before.
Yeah, but the funny thing about that whole statement is we found it's in an episode of the Vampire Diaries, word for damn word. And I'm like, were you watching this and you just said, hey, this is what I'm going to say tonight because it sounds good? You know what I mean? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've played that clip too. And it's odd when you think about that. Like, how, dude, okay. You know what? Now my brain is racing. The odds of two people not calling the cops for 8 hours. Wild.
Yeah.
No DNA, that yet they cleaned it up. And this person who, in the wildest timeline ever, I've ranted about this many times. So you guys get my point with the timeline, the DNA, all that shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian Koberger's papers, crazy. Connection to the victims, crazy. Ashley Banfield showing muffin top pictures, crazy. Like, what are the odds of all of this happening? National security reference, sealed and redacted, like sweeping gag orders for what should be a straightforward stabbing homicide. And yet more and more comes out. Now there's a Homeland Security slip, and it is crystal clear.
Yeah, and we know Homeland Security was there. So what they were doing, we don't know. And Homeland Security only gets involved for specific reasons, okay? They don't just come for nothing. And with her saying that, it just was like, okay, here we are. Yeah.
Dude, on a side note, your house, the background, not to be weird, it looks super relaxing. Like, it looks like if I had like a Monday night football game on, I would be in and out of taking a nap. Do you have your Christmas tree up already?
One of them. This is my Christmas tree will be over here. This is like one of those what do you call them trees? Ficus tree with some white lights on it. I got my living room tree up in the back. No, hell no.
Yeah.
I'd have killed that years ago. But usually I put my actual Christmas tree. We have 2 of them, one in my living room and one back here in the den. So yeah, it's supposed to be comfortable. I love it back here. I got all my toys around me and all my stuff. You know what I mean? So
that's awesome, man. I sorry, I meant to say that earlier too, with like the fireplace. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Thank you.
I could take a nap there. So I have a theory though, going off of Homeland Security. This is obviously the first time that I'm going to be showing the clip on the stream.
Mhm.
I have not heard anybody else say this theory. One of the other things that I want to preface too before we play it is that I might be known as the conspiracy guy. Dago might have, the way that his people that tune in know him. Same thing with Devil's Advocates or other people that I have on stream.
Yeah.
We have to be able to like give and take on kind of how far do we stretch when we hear this, because now there's real things that are being brought in that are patterns. They're real patterns that point to something, whether it be a marshal on scene with how fast the FBI is there with all the redactions, the sweeping gag orders, as I said,
Right.
Homeland Security, the correction, or like the Pennsylvania correction, or however she says it, right? You'll hear it's like the state prison of Pennsylvania. Like, do you know anybody there? They're asking her all these things. And Brian Cooper was arrested less than what, 24 hours before that. So,
well, let me ask you something real quick. Do you remember, because you've been in this for a minute, do you remember, because I was asking my mods earlier, wasn't there a subpoena for somebody that was a CO out of Pennsylvania?
You're not talking about the sheriff's return warrant before the fire, are you?
No.
Yeah,
I saw like towards the end of this, they had dropped some subpoenas for some people from Pennsylvania and stuff like that. And I swear I'm probably wrong because I have been wrong, but I could have swore that one of those subpoenas belonged to somebody that worked as a CO at a prison or a jail or something. And that was one of the subpoenas that they had out. And if that's, as soon as I heard that, that's what clicked for me. You know what I mean?
So I've never covered that. When you say that, I kind of feel like I've heard that before,
Right.
but not enough other than just like, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And,
oh, maybe it was a park ranger, somebody said, but somebody else said yes. So I could be, like I said, Tim DeWolf.
There's a lot of people saying they remember this.
Tim DeWolf. Yeah, that was the name right there.
Tim DeWolf.
Yep. It wasn't Tim DeWolf. I remember the name. I'm telling you guys, there's so much of this stuff, dude. You know how much is involved in this case. So I mix things up from time to time. So
no, and I think that if you didn't, it'd be weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
But anyways, I saw another comment come in too that talked about, and we had mentioned it when I had Lana on. It was like the extortion and overt threats underneath all the victims' names and Brian Koberger, whether it be to get the CastNet tools to see, to look into, again, a college kid. It's like, dude, why would a random cop lie about that to get access to the tools when the FBI is involved?
Yes.
Could it be there's tens of thousands of documents being released with how many terabytes? Did somebody just forget?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it at all. There's too much. And yeah, absolutely.
Could you imagine getting tasked with the job to add the black squares and rectangles on all these documents?
Nope. I've said that before. I would have quit right there. I said it. No way. No. Fired somebody else. Either that or you're going to pay me $150 an hour to do this shit.
More than that.
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm sorry. No.
Because, dude, you got to read them.
I know. You have to read every line, every word, and then decide, yep, that's redacted. No. I'd go insane, bro. I'd go insane.
I would too.
I went insane just reading them, Bertie. I was trying to read the damn things. And I got to the point where I had to take days off reading those going blank, 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 but blank, blank, yes, no, blank, 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 but blank, blank. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. So
it's just crazy, man. And so I got this clip. It's about, I think this clip's like 2 minutes, but I'm going to let it play through. I'm going to sit on my hands because I will go back and like when I edit my own streams, I'm like, damn, like I would piss me off by how much I stop it.
I do
first
it all the
time through. So
yeah, I do it all the time.
So I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm going to sit on my hands and I'm going to let this play through. We're just going to listen here. I tried to do the closed captions, but I don't know. It felt like there was a lot of editing and there was words that were way off that I also didn't want to influence people's subconscious. I've done that in the past. So turn your headphones up or turn your TV up. This should be loud enough for everybody to hear. Type a 1 when I start to play this right now, just to make sure. And I will let this play.
He lived next door to us. He was blah, 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 like just random stuff like that. But then we saw the video of Maddie and Kayleen walking together. And we're like, oh shit. Like they were walking together. It wasn't like, that's what also kind of made me believe like it really wasn't him. So no, I wouldn't have known at all who it was yesterday.
Okay. Have you ever seen this Brian Koberger before?
No. I remember when called me some, or I don't remember, someone said, oh, the arrest was in Pennsylvania. That was like, okay, called me
Before?
No. I remember when called me some, or I don't remember, someone said, oh, the arrest was in Pennsylvania. That was like, okay, I don't know anyone from Pennsylvania. I don't know anyone that has ties to Pennsylvania. And so that like really weirded me out. Or I don't remember, someone said, oh, the arrest was in Pennsylvania. That was like, okay, I don't know anyone from Pennsylvania. I don't know anyone that has ties to Pennsylvania.
Oh, man. And, you know, at a certain point, you have to start to wonder, again, how does how does that just get slipped up? You know what I mean?
Narrative warfare, bro. I love
Exactly.
that term. I love that term. I've been saying it too. I love it. It's great. And I'm glad you created it because that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. I was sitting here laughing. Every time I hear that now, I laugh because it's so ridiculous. It's right there.
and yet, so, speaking of the narrative warfare, I have declared war not only on the narrative, I've declared war on, to put it bluntly, dumbasses. Okay. I've declared war on these NPCs, the MSNPCs,
Amen.
These disciples of mainstream media, because you cannot tell me that this case is just the only thing that makes no sense with a talking suit and a talking head who's paid to say the things that they are.
Sure.
And say it over again, or say it over and over and over again until you believe it. And I'm not going to rant about the news. You guys know I can't stand it. Can't stand it.
I can't either. My people know I can't either. So I'm down with you on that one.
And, yet at the same time, there's so many tidbits sprinkled in there that discredits them.
Yes.
Immediately.
They do it to themselves. Amen to that too.
So, all right. I want to give you my theory on why I believe Dylan could be saying Homeland Security.
Sure.
And I believe that when you look at Dylan and Bethany, but right now specifically Dylan, Dylan and Bethany are people that Dylan was an eyewitness who is giving vague answers. She is confused. We know her statements have changed. They make no sense. There's actually very little detailed accuracies mixed into this timeline with her, right?
Right.
So taking all that in and then hearing that, and then hearing the Pennsylvania corrections, or however she said it.
Yeah.
Hearing Blaker on November 13th with Ashley Jennings at 5 p.m. say that Dylan's timeline is better than Bethany's, yet Dylan hadn't even talked to them according to the police reports.
Right.
My gut tells me that Dylan is somebody who was in a controlled debrief. Dylan was told exactly what happened.
And that's the only way. We talked about this just a little bit backstage. I have to agree with you on that. Were you done? I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, I was hoping that you would riff off that. Yeah.
Okay. So I have a tendency because of my ADHD to just walk over people and talk, but
no, you're good.
I always forget what I'm going to say if not. But yeah, the fact that she made that statement. Let's throw the dates out there again, Bertie. What was the dates again on that? That interview was what, the 30th?
November. I'm sorry. Yes, December 30th. Brian Koberger was arrested less than 24 hours before that.
Okay, so there's no way that any of that hit media. Okay, not like that. In under normal circumstances, I would never imagine that they would bring somebody such as Dylan Mortensen in and explain things to her. Now, one thing I was thinking about too, though, her stepmother is an attorney and her attorney. Would she have access to that? Very possibly. Would she tell her about that? Very possibly. But what you just said makes perfect sense to me, because that's the only way I can imagine that somebody in her position would know something like that. It's not an accident. Was it a slip up? Sure. Of course it was. We know it was, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. It obviously did. She didn't get that from nowhere. Okay. It had to come from somewhere. So yeah, I can agree with you on that, dude. That makes perfect sense.
And I'm sorry, survivors don't get random visits from Homeland Security in a straightforward lone wolf homicide.
They don't.
This
Not at all.
This tells me that the feds are, we know at this point, the feds are already controlling the damage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolution. 100%, in my opinion. Like I said, I ran a whole show months ago about the lead investigator, Brett Payne, and pointing out the fact that he's not. The dude is just a face. Okay. And Bill Thompson, the FBI, in my opinion, that's who controlled this entire thing. And that's, you know, other, once again, let me throw something else out there too. I said yesterday about different conversation we were having, but we have Moscow police, we have Idaho State Police, we have Latah County Sheriff's Department, we have the FBI, we have Homeland Security, we have the Secret Service, and there was a rumor that the U.S. Marshals were in there. I don't know that that's true or not, but that's a lot of agencies to be involved in a case. Granted, it's a quadruple homicide, but I've never seen that many agencies involved in one situation. So,
dude, and I agree with that. What you just said last with, I've never seen that many agencies involved in it. Look, quadruple homicide, is that a lot of people? Yes. At the end of the day, you look at any major city, there's people dying every day.
Absolutely. Cleveland, Ohio, bro. I'm in Ohio, Cleveland. That's not an abnormal thing to happen on a regular basis. You're absolutely right.
And so it's like, well, they weren't equipped to handle that. Well, okay. That many agencies, though?
Yeah, you could bring one agency in. You don't need to bring the whole alphabet in, bro.
Maybe a couple FBI agents to help and give you access to tools if needed. But, I mean, let's also talk about, you got Moscow and Pullman PD that are 10 miles away from each other.
Yeah, I forgot them, too. Pullman was involved, too.
And, dude, you got two giant campuses that are the lifeblood of the area.
Yes.
Those police departments, they have to be. I mean, there are tens of thousands of kids that are partying, that are in Greek life. You can't. Well, they're not prepared for murders. Well, okay, whose fault is that? I don't even believe that.
I don't either, because if you're not prepared for murders, then what did you do with the other situations? They had gone through this, not with 4 people, but they have gone. Kathy Mabbitt herself made a statement. This is her area, that she's seen other multiple homicides before. Okay, Kathy, thank you. And we know for a fact that there's been other murders, deaths, things like that. So I don't believe that at all. I agree with you on that.
So what I'm getting at with Dylan being in this controlled debrief is I think that we actually just got a glimpse into like accidentally leaked, like sealed information. Like this was classified and it was almost said out loud.
Yes.
That's what I think that is.
So what else do you think, Bertie, could have been stated that shouldn't have been stated through all of that? You know what I mean? I know damn well that that's not the one and only time she's ever done that. Come on.
Like, to the whole point of it, I don't think it's just a mistake, right? Like, I think it was a mistake for her to say that, but I don't think it was this random mistake. I think that there was this like, what do you call that? Like a psychological, like your subconscious went there because you're trying to lie. You're trying to sound normal. Maybe that's why she sounds so chipper.
Yeah.
But now you want to know what really messes me up, dude, is when I think about her tone has stayed the same no matter what interview.
Oh yeah.
Damn near to the 911 call when they show up, the body cam.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, I don't know. Is she like under some like oversight, like a narrative oversight? Is she being controlled to say certain things?
I can tell you that I can absolutely believe that at this point. I feel that those two have a level of fear within them for whatever reason from the beginning. That's why Bethany ran for the hills. That's why Dylan went and hid. Okay. And I absolutely believe 100% that there's a fear that's controlling the situation. The fear is that if we don't do what we're supposed to do, here it comes. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion for sure. They're actually absolutely, I believe in that controlled aspect.
And so this is where people are gonna, if you have the ability to think critically, and if you followed this case, you're not going to be shocked. If you've only watched Ashley Banfield talk about Koberger's muffin tops, your head's going to blow off right now.
Yeah,
but to me, right, it's like Dylan's not just a witness, everybody. She is either a liability or she's an asset. There's one of two things at this point, or both.
Yeah, or both, depending on what the situation would pertain to. Yes.
Because timeline is false.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
If anything, dude, what about this? Does that all okay? If she didn't hear this from let me back up. I got to make sure I say this right because I want to say it right the first time I say that so it's not confusing.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Homeland Security. Type of 1 if you guys heard that. Let's just make sure. Let's get the chat on the same page. Type of 1 if you guys heard Homeland Security. We can listen to it again. Okay. Because now with this just popping into my head right here, I'd be curious after I say this if we can backtrack and think of other things that point to this.
Bingo. There you go.
Okay. So hear me out now, dude. Okay. I love when this happens. Does Dylan saying Homeland Security point to a pre-coordinated arrest of Bryan Kohberger?
It absolutely could, for sure.
Him being allowed to cross multiple state lines, him being surveilled for up to 5 months beforehand.
Yep. It absolutely could. The whole Indiana stop, the dual stops in Indiana that they denied, I don't believe ever, never will. All of that. Yes, I agree with you.
So there's federal fingerprints all over this arrest before anybody in the public knew who Bryan Kohberger was.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me why you'd let a knife-wielding maniac serial killer wannabe ever go on that long.
Unless you had full control over that person.
Bingo. That's my point.
I agree.
That's my point. I just got goosebumps, dude.
I've been talking about that for quite a while, in the background, but yeah, unless you have full control over that person, of course you wouldn't do that because if you have no control over that situation, that could be dangerous to you, yourself, and many other situations. So yeah.
And you got Dylan's mother saying that you hope this I'm sorry, not Dylan's mom, Xana's mom.
Yes.
Saying that she hoped that it wasn't because of her cooperating.
Yep. Yeah, that report threw me sideways real quick when I was reading through that one, dude. That was pretty crazy.
And I'm going to check the super chats here quick. Thank you guys for all that. I've seen them come popping in. And Motorman says, they let Payne go on a wild goose chase, keep him distracted. That goes with, okay, so talk about that real quick, because I liked how you said, so you're the way that your brain was kind of, or how my brain was interpreting what you were saying is like, he's almost like this figurehead.
That's it. In my opinion, yeah, that's it.
He's like the House secretary. He's the person that fields the media.
Bingo. And
it makes a lot of sense.
He didn't even do that though. I don't think they even trusted him to do that because the dude, listen, we all know Ty Barrett was the lead investigator. 24 hours later, they make this guy that has 2 years experience in the department the lead investigator on a quadruple homicide. And I went, wait, what? No. Come on now. So, okay, fine. And then, yeah, with what you're saying, they had to have Moscow had to have a face on this, period. So, that's all that he was to me, in my opinion, because he did nothing. Hence the reason when he gets on the stand, he can't answer questions. They didn't want him to answer questions. They kept him from questions, in my opinion, so he didn't have to worry about answering questions. So,
well, dude, and also, I was talking about the ACA, which is like the Authorized Criminal Act or something like that. It's essentially, you're never going to see somebody who's an informant, or I'm sorry, who's like working with the feds. They will never be on trial as a true defendant.
Never. That's absolutely
right. And so now I'm gonna loop this into what you just said about the guy who had all the experience that should have been the lead detective, but wasn't because it was Payne after 2 years. Who, by the way, if you're if you're a 2-year detective and you solve this case as simply and as Loctite as you did, that's a career maker. You're not going to leave.
So why would you leave and go work head of security for the damn college? Exactly.
But whether there's an ongoing investigation that maybe the lead detective's involved in, or the reason why they don't put a defendant that's undercover on trial fully is because that entire operation will collapse. It will be exploited in trial.
Yeah.
So they can't do that. Any arrest prior, any arrest in the future is now going to be under mad scrutiny. And it puts
100%.
people's lives at risk.
And we know, I think you may have known this, but we found out way early on in this, like you said, I was on this from day one, that the FBI and the DEA were on the ground on campus within this situation before the murders happened, intertwined. So there was something going on before, during, and after, in my opinion. So absolutely, they cannot, if that's how Brian got involved in this, okay, that would blow the entire thing that they probably spent millions of dollars on, multiple agencies, multiple people. So the man's got to go to prison, okay? And like I said before, what if that was the whole point, that Brian was supposed to go to prison, Bertie?
I've heard that theory a couple times, and every time it makes my head just again explode.
Yes.
Because you want to talk about like the most sophisticated of sophisticated tinfoil hat, yet we all call it corruption. It's purposeful misdirection that is all within the legal confines of our system.
That's it. Same thing Cy Ray called it. You ain't lying, bro.
And so Dylan has to get debriefed immediately and get her story straight. You got to ensure she's not going to reveal details that might point to this cartel gang style hit.
Right.
They're going to plug the leaks. They're going to secure the media. And now think about this as I'm saying this, because this is what we watched happen. They're going to control the narrative before this explodes, dude.
Right. Right.
Because if it already isn't weird that this case exploded, imagine if it comes out that a white supremacist gang just did that, or the cartel did that.
In the city of Moscow, with this university right here, the other university right there. Absolutely. This is a hometown, peaceful place. So yeah.
Which this makes me think it's not about a murderer. This entire thing isn't about a murderer. Like I'm having thoughts right now for the first time that I've ever had talking to you right now. It's like, this makes me think that this is not about a murderer, and that this is rather some sort of outside of like narrative containment. But let's follow. Xana's mom says, I hope this isn't because of me cooperating in a police document, and they release that. Let's back that up. Do you know how stupid that would be for them to release that info? And they just release it to the entire world that she says that. And I haven't thought about it like that until right now. Why would they ever let that be unsealed? Now everybody, they're putting her at risk, dude.
Well, of course. Do you know how many people, Bertie, they've done that with? Bill Thompson himself has done multiple informants work for the city of Moscow, doing the same thing. So yeah, absolutely. And we had two, not just one, two of the parents that were involved in that same type of situation that, in my opinion, rolled. Carrie's the only one that made that statement, but there was at least two, bro. At least two.
And they're just letting that part out. But we can't even hear Jack Showalter's name. Give me a break.
Inexperience. There's too much.
It's too much. It's too easy. It's like I've said, it's like a screen pass in football when you're rushing and the O-line lets you by. You're like, you got to put the brakes on and back up because they're about to dump it off right over your head and go score. That's what this feels like. It's too easy to poke holes in. We're being distracted by it. I'm not saying that there's not truth mixed in, but like,
well,
and
of course. And they did not think. Here's what my theory has always been with this. Nowhere within this case did the government within that was covering this think that a bunch of YouTubers were going to figure this out, that they were going to look into this as deep as that we have and follow this for as long as we have. I'm sure they figured, oh yeah, they'll take a look at it and move on. Well, guess what? And they underestimated this community as it is. And here we sit. So that's my opinion on that.
I mean, dude, now I'm starting to think like, how can I say this? With that information being released, because I agree there's more than one parent that might have cooperated or flipped. Yeah, for sure, right? But dude, by them releasing that, even before that gets released, if that's known to people inside like a prison gang or whatever, your family is free game. Everybody knows that.
And they had those people were being followed by the FBI. They were being protected. But guess who wasn't being protected? Their kids. It's a very interesting theory.
But then you want to know what I'll say to that, dude. What are the chances that all those kids that have their parents' backgrounds that they do are all in that house on that night, and Kaylee just so happens to be back that night, and Ethan just so happens to be
there
staying
there you go, brother. Why did they bring Kaylee back?
And you have the plainclothes police officers patrolling.
Yep.
Allegedly, right? All around that time. And so it makes you think, was that house already a known, like if you were law enforcement, I'm saying.
In my opinion, yes. I know where you're going.
Yeah, like, is that a known, like, okay, this is a potential hotbed of people that have targets on their back because of their family members.
Yes.
It's not like WITSEC yet, but it's like they're under some sort of like a security detail.
I think Rosie and Tesda were brought on that night, purposely that night, which is why they made so many laps around that vicinity that night. What other reason would you sit in that area alone and make multiple circles throughout that neighborhood that night? It's just we've looked into that too, and it's like, wait, you have a whole campus you could be patrolling and watching, but you stayed right there, and they kept coming back to that Banfield area, Birdie, right there by the fire hydrant. They kept coming back to that same spot. They took off and went to the other side of Moscow for a little while to deal with the sign and the grub truck dude with the long hair and the sweater on and all that stuff, and came back through them, in my opinion. So yeah, you got to wonder that. You got to
wonder that. And then you got to think too, like I've always wondered, like, was Xana the target? And is that why, like,
is that why we don't have a time that they got home ever?
That's what I mean, bro. And I was talking about that earlier this week. Like, why does nobody know where they are? And is that because we're gonna kill the snitch's daughter? And you want to know what else? We're gonna create we're gonna muddy the waters and have collateral damage to confuse law enforcement as to what the motive could have been.
Yep. Bingo. Because we do not have, by any means, an absolute timeline that Xana and Ethan got in that house. In the first press conference, we just went over it again the other day. They stated that they were home by 1:45. No, they weren't, because in Hippler's affidavit, they went upstairs and had a little powwow in Kaylee's bedroom at 2 a.m. They weren't there. After that, nobody talks about Xana or Ethan that night until after the fact. So where the hell were they? Did somebody follow them home from that night? And that's always been my thought, that those two were the targets and the other two were collateral damage. Just saying.
Yeah, and in a way, it ends up being like this, it ends up being like a silent message to the person that did snitch.
Bingo. 100%, bro. Makes perfect sense to me. Makes perfect sense to me.
Like, we reached your blood. We got your daughter.
Yep. Now sit down, shut your mouth, and go away.
And you want to know what, dude? I would even throw into there, Dylan and Beth, we're going to leave survivors for the fear. Nobody's going to talk out now.
Exactly. And that in itself, I can imagine a conversation being had. Now, let me go back to something, because I don't know if you were around for that, but I had a community member that was attached to my channel for a very long time. She went by the name WSU Mom Kim.
I've heard her call.
Okay. So she came out early on and gave a bunch of information, and everybody didn't believe her until about the past 3 months, and everything she stated, almost everything has come to fruition. So with the stuff she told me back then, I have to stick to it now and say, she said to me that there were people that knew for days before this happened that this was going to go down. And there was many, many people that knew about this. Okay. So at that point,
shakedown.
100%. That's what she called it, a shakedown. She said there was supposed to be a shakedown to settle a situation that maybe went too far, or that was the whole point. Who knows? It could be either one. And boom, here we sit. You know what I mean? And it's being covered up because, again, think about this. Like you said, I'm pretty sure I've heard you say it before, that this is the university. The university relies on the city of Moscow. The city of Moscow relies on the university. If neither have each other, it is what it is. Okay. They'll both shut down, in my opinion. And if this were to get out, that's why there was such a push to make sure they had somebody in custody for this, because people were pulling their kids out. People did not want to come back. But as soon as they got, the arrest, oh, we're back to, we're safe again. So.
So can I ask you this? Because I saw you talk, your WSU Kim interview is what I ended up showing back when I was doing my TikTok streams.
Yeah.
I believe you were the first, right?
I wasn't. Actually, T-Red was the first, and then she got they beat her up over there pretty bad. And then she came to my channel, I think, and then she was on Drunk Turkey and Lana. But I was one of the first. Yeah, I was one of the people that protected her and gave her a platform and told her, say what you got to say. So,
dude, can I throw something out there that I've not heard anybody say?
Go for it.
See, I get a little bit hesitant to say this because it's like there are so many people that they just can't think through it. And I'm not saying I even believe this, but this thought popped into my head again. I'm having like 3 or 4 thoughts that I haven't said out loud yet. It's like, okay, this Homeland Security thing. I love whenever that happens because it like re-triggers this curiosity of like why. Mm-hmm. And it's immediately after Koberger gets arrested and she's saying this. It's like, how did Homeland Security get to her? And then I look back to Blaker and Ashley Jennings being there. Payne's not wearing a body cam at the crime scene. It's 5 p.m. The coroner might not have even been there. These reports aren't done. That's where the whole debrief of Dylan comes in. And I'm like, that's how they might know. But then I started thinking like, dude, why would you debrief somebody that has this eyewitness testimony and kind of like also put them out there at the same time? Like, that's also weird to me. Just like I said, it's weird they released Xana's mom's police report. Why are you going to release that Dylan saw them?
Yep.
That's also like, shit, we have a witness.
Yep.
So was she not there? Did she see him? Right? People have said that. What if Dylan like truly did survive? And that's why they're calling them, they're not a victim, they're not a witness.
They're survivors.
And what if they did survive? What if she did run away?
It's possible.
Like, what if she got the hell out of the house like a normal person would have and didn't go anywhere until the next day, and hence the 8-hour delay? She got the hell out of there.
That would explain that. That would explain why people believe they weren't there that night either, too. You know what I mean?
She ran for her life.
Yeah. Yes.
And then was debriefed and said, this is what you have to say. Maybe.
I mean, that makes perfect sense to me, dude. It truly does.
I'm not saying I believe it, but it's got to be maybe considered. And maybe Bethany went too. They were
definitely considered, in my opinion, too.
And maybe I don't know. Dude, for all we know, they could have called the cops as they're running for their life. And that's why they were maybe staying at a hotel.
Yeah. And there's one point that a bunch of people were pointing out to me when we were watching the body cams that Dylan says, that man over there told us to call 911.
Yes. And it looks like they point at was it Rosie or Gunderson?
One of the two, yeah. And I was like, wait a minute, because everybody was like, well, she was pointing at Hunter. Why would she call him a man? That doesn't fit to me. I'm sorry. The language doesn't match up for a 20-something to say something like that. So, and again, it doesn't mean it's true, you guys. It's just one of them things. Did you get a hold of somebody that, in every community, there's always that one cop that's friendly with everybody. I'm your buddy. If you need anything, here's my card. Come talk to me, so on and so forth. You know what I mean?
Dude, like, what do you say? And this is not towards anybody specific. I'm just saying, like, what do you say to people in general, whether it's, in the chat, whether it's in your normal everyday life?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, they think that this might just be somebody who's outsmarting them as a witness, being Dylan, being Bethany. I'm sorry. At this point in my mind, there's no way in hell that DM and Bethany's story would have not gotten them to crack with the pressure that would have been put on them by these agencies.
Sure.
They would have cracked. They've gotten people who have had way more complex plans, that have had way better stories.
Sure.
We've watched these people at times like, dude, this is on a way different level. It's not a murder, but it's like the mom who was like like verbally abusing her own daughter via text messages for years.
Mhm.
I forget what that was called. It was on Netflix. It's like disgusting where it's like,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I didn't think that seeing,
Catfished. Yeah.
by her own mom. Now
Yeah.
that's a bad example, but I'm saying you can look at people and not know because she was talking the entire first half of the documentary and telling the story. And then it
Yeah.
comes out like halfway through, like, oh my God,
Right.
it's supposed to
Right.
be her mom.
How did you do that to your own child? Right.
But you can apply that to other murder cases where it's like they did it.
Of course.
And like,
Absolutely.
so dude, out of all of the people in that house, who would you say, in your opinion, had the parents with the biggest target on their back? Xana? If this was a gang hit, like a drug hit.
Yeah, I would venture to say, but I'll go there, but there's also been information that's come out lately that has been pushed about the Goncalves family. Is it true? I don't know. Okay, I'm just telling you. I've been looking at all the aspects, but I would imagine Xana's mom would be the biggest. Yeah.
And you know, I'm glad you brought up the G. So one of the things that I don't typically do on the show is I don't ever really talk about the family specifically. Like I've put Steve G's interviews on there that he's talked. Like everybody watches those interviews.
Yes.
But like I don't really dive into anything other than, you know, I guess the generalized, like they had parents that were connected.
That's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but just like I was talking about with Xana, why are they releasing that information of her mom saying, I hope this isn't because I cooperated? Okay.
No idea,
Why
bro.
would the G family get out into the media and expose themselves? Now, I'm not saying that people haven't done that. Okay. I can wrap my head around the fact that people try to maybe hide in plain sight, or they try to, who knows what the motivation would be.
Yeah.
But like, why let them do that? It's so mind-boggling to me that I always think like there has to be a reason why it's that family that is doing it.
That's a great point, because there's been a lot from that family. Okay. And they've admitted to it, Bertie. They've admitted to purposely leaking things. They've admitted to purposely having people leak misinformation to run a specific narrative. They've admitted to it with no fault. And it's like, what are you doing? Now, the only thing I can say to that, okay, and I believe this wholeheartedly at this point, everything that's been given to us has been given to us on purpose to keep us going one direction, okay, because they're not going to give us the truth. We know that. And that's why I think they're running that narrative to keep it going that direction, in my opinion. And I think a few of us have fallen into some of the truth, okay? And every time that happens, something new comes out, and there's more questions on top of other questions again. So that's my only, why would you give it to that family type thing? Because they know that family is going to be talking about it. Okay.
When Hive, I'm putting out a request off the top of my head. I don't know this. Dago, if you know this, that'd be great. But
okay.
When did Xana's mom, not the police report, when was the suspected time frame of the cooperation?
I believe it was, somebody in here that's part of my team probably correct me, but I believe it was like days before, a matter of like 2 or 3 days before she was arrested.
Murders?
2 or 3 days, the murders, I believe. Yeah. And then Maddie's stepmother, I believe, was right after, in my opinion. I think that's how that went down. Don't quote me, because it's been so long now. There's somebody in here that knows it. There it is. 11/9, November 9th. So,
but is that the police report, or is that when the actual cooperation?
Well, that's I think that's the arrest date.
Oh yeah, because obviously it couldn't be the police report because the crime hadn't even happened yet. Whatever. Yeah. Duh.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go.
Man.
I mean, if you look at this situation, you know that it happens. Look at the other two that were being held responsible for Caden Young's death. They get arrested. They're both in sitting in jail. I'm in a live stream and I get a message. They just released them with no extra charges, no prosecution, no nothing. And off they go. They disappear. And I went, what? They do this a lot, bro. They do this a lot there. It's crazy. So when I read that report from Kara, I said, you got to be kidding me.
Why let
There it
that
is.
out? That's my biggest
That's
question
what I mean.
right
I
now.
agree with you. How and why? Maybe it was an accident, dude. Maybe they didn't pull that. You know, when they went through all this stuff to redact what they were going to do, so on and so forth. Maybe they didn't catch it. You know, I'm sure with all the stuff they were putting out, it would be almost damn near impossible to catch everything. So it could have been a slip, in my opinion.
I mean, dude, and we don't know where they were. We don't see pictures of them. This happened a week before.
Yep.
Dog.
Yep.
What if they got their ass out of Dodge? I'm just saying. It's
could
that
be.
seems
Could
to be maybe that
we've been
like,
told.
I don't know.
We were okay. This is where I started to get weirded out about this. We were told by, and it's changed. Jeff Kernodle and Jasmine stated, I can't remember which show it was, but and then it came back out in the victim's impact statements that he had contacted Xana that night, and Xana said, "Yeah, Dad, we're good." Somebody sent Jasmine, Xana's sister, a message about a fight. Okay, Jeff calls. They were out drinking, him and his daughter. And are you guys okay? Yeah, Dad. It's 12 or 12:30. We're sitting at home eating pizza, watching movies. We're good. And Jasmine said, you know, I told my dad, no, I can't let him go. He's been drinking too much. Now, Kara, because we did an interview with Kara, I can't remember exactly when, but that question was asked to her, and she absolutely verified that fight happened that night. So, okay. And then the story changed in the reports that he hadn't seen them. Jeff hadn't seen or spoke to her since the 11th. So what's going on here?
I mean, dude, this is where my theory, my tinfoil hat comes in with this. Was there a double cross, like a setup? Was there an assassination plot that was foiled where they were like, it was spoiled? Like Xana and Ethan were supposed to be, Xana was supposed to be there. Ethan was supposed to be there, but they weren't. And there's somebody else waiting in the house. And maybe the 2 gunshots were cops killing the people that were going to come and kill these kids.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then the calls for the unconscious person. Like, I don't know, man.
We've never seen Xana's picture in that bedroom. We saw a blurry version of somebody in that bedroom, but that's it.
I mean, every single so then it's like Kaylee and Maddie, their movements, as far as I'm concerned, from a narrative standpoint, are precise to the minute, bro.
Yeah.
2 of them are foggy, and we have no idea.
Absolutely, and that shouldn't be that way. In a case like this, you should be able to tell exactly where everybody was that whole night. I can't remember. Was it Emily? Yeah, it was Emily that stated she saw Xana on a video at 1:30 at the lodge. And just imagine that Ethan's with her. That's her statement. That doesn't mean it's real. Okay, so where were they? When did they get home?
What about phone GPS? What about like?
Yep.
And then, dude, on top of that, bro, you got the University of Idaho's entire camera system is shut down on a Sunday for maintenance, yet nobody's working. All the other house, like you see everyone's seen that picture of the TV that's saying there's no connection.
The Roku screen popped up, right? That's interesting. That is interesting.
I mean, dude, that's used in operations.
Yes, sir.
I hate to go there because I hate to go there because I know that people, they have their own theories, and I listen to all of them. I put out a ton of them. To me, it's just seeming to become more and more unlikely that college kids pulled this off.
Oh, I can agree. And
framed this random guy nobody knows.
Exactly. I can agree.
Under the most sus circumstances of trace DNA. But like,
yeah,
these holes are lining up way too perfectly to be natural. In my opinion. Like, now to say that there wasn't sketchy stuff going on. But maybe that's also too why people think there's 2 timelines.
Yeah, that would make perfect sense. A lot of people believe that. Two timelines at two different times a night. So,
but you want to know what's so wild? Both of those timelines, dude, they have the same missing block. What are the chances of that? If there was two timelines, like
that would be pretty odd. I agree. That would be pretty odd.
That can't be right. Like, how if there's truly two different timelines for Xana and Ethan, what I'm trying to say is how is there naturally ever one missing block that somehow both those separate timelines can all be encapsulated on and have no leaks?
Right. Good point. See, I've always struggled with the leak part of this. How do young people this young keep something like this a secret for so long, other than the fact that their life has been threatened? Okay.
It's got to be it.
If you speak on this, you're done. That's the only thing I can imagine that would keep somebody quiet. Now, I've been waiting patiently and hoping that somebody gets drunk and spits something accidentally and it comes out. But I think there's people that are handling, for lack of better terms, that are handling these two, and other people possibly, just to ensure that stuff like that doesn't happen. That's just my opinion.
The confusing part to me is, like, you go on X, you go on Reddit, you go on pretty much Instagram, you can see it. There are so many effed up videos.
Yes.
And live leak.
Big time.
We can't even get cars on a road.
Nope.
We can't even get security footage at a bar.
I've said
everything's
that before.
grainy.
Yep, because that shows the truth. Like I said before, one of the videos that I want bad, I want the 11/12 footage from 9 p.m. that night until 1 p.m. the next day. All of it. I just want to see it and follow it. I'll sit all night and watch it. I don't care. I know that we'll never get it because I feel like at some point that's going to have some truth in it, and we'll never see it, in my opinion. And then, you know, one of my issues with that footage as well, and I think Jules went looking for it, and I think she's about to get it. But Olivia, Kaylee's sister, said she saw them get dropped off at 1:56 a.m., go inside, then come back out to walk the dog. That didn't happen. We know that those two didn't come back out to walk the dog. We know who was walking the dog. And how did you see that from the 11/12 camera footage that's around the corner? Obviously, in my opinion, she saw it either on another camera or never saw it at all. That's just my opinion.
I agree with that.
I think she was told that, and that's what she just went with it. That's my opinion.
In addition to just random oddities, random things. I don't want to just talk about the same stuff. I'm trying to piece this together right now because I feel like the thoughts are flowing, and it's like Chapin saying 2 a.m. is a dark hour. You hear a bunch of weird shit around, 1:30, 1:50, oddly in the lane cameras. You got Chrissy, Steve, and Olivia saying that their niece called them and said they were shot.
Right.
What time was the rumored on? I always forget the name of, like, the whatever the log is for the 911 calls. Wasn't there? What time was, like, the first 911 call? Wasn't that a big thing in the beginning that there was an alleged 911 call that went out that was caught on the
3 a.m. I think it was. But they've tried as hard as they can to bury that. I've never seen or heard it, but they talked about it quite often, and then it, like I said, it disappeared. 3 or 301. But see, a lot of people have said that pertains to the Banfield situation. But that doesn't make sense because the Banfield situation wasn't a 911 call. It wasn't an emergency. These guys were patrolling, looking for underage drinkers, and saw them walking and stopped them. So there's no 911 call there. That's a nice try, but no.
I'm going to try to do some math here.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. So 301. Okay. Okay. My head is spinning now. So Dylan added the contact at 350.
351, yeah.
If that 911 call is real, people respond, they assess the situation. What if it's people that are on scene, whether it be the FBI, now a handler? That's the contact that she's adding.
Mm-hmm. It would
She
make
leaves.
sense.
She leaves. She's being debriefed for about 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
She shows up. What a lot of people think is her, drives her car back the next morning, gets out. People are called. They come over. People are going to say, Brian Koberger Googled the murders before they were announced. Well, if that's the case, then half the freaking town of Moscow should be in handcuffs.
Exactly. Thank you. Exactly.
But it's like, it's too deliberate in the midst of chaos. Same thing with Xana being on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
It's too deliberate of things that are said out loud in this narrative, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed. I agree.
So people have always been trying to say that this contact might be the key. Now, I'm curious. Has anybody ever applied? Are you familiar with like the 1 hour, 7 minutes, 26 second delta?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
With like the Banfield body cam. Has anybody ever applied that to the 351 contact being entered? Has anybody ever applied that to this alleged first 911 call? That'd be interesting.
It would be, truly. Yeah.
Same thing with Xana's on TikTok. If you apply that.
I think Pavarotti might have tried to do that at one point. Don't quote me. I might be wrong, but I know he definitely paid attention to that. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. That's definitely a crazy point.
I've had Sherlock on to talk about the Banfield at the 7 minute, 26 seconds, the 1 hour, 7 minutes, 26 seconds.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, what's interesting too. I made a video saying that if you applied that delta to the time of the 911 call,
mm-hmm.
I believe it was like at the first vandal alert sent out.
104. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is just like weird.
Yeah, it is very, very much so. I agree.
Like, even if that's just by chance. Guys,
crazy.
Oh my God.
That's what it does every day, dude. Every day I go through that same exact because it's like, what? And I think it's all done purposely, Bertie, to keep us confused. Okay. That's my opinion. I mean, they don't want this figured out for whatever reason. It would be a horrible thing if somebody figured this out and put the truth out there. Okay. And that's why this is repeatedly being pushed the way it is. Truly. That's why there's still people out here talking about Brian being guilty and pushing that, because we've all asked, like, why are they still saying these things? Why do they care what we're talking about? He's in prison. You got what you wanted. You think he's guilty, move on, but they won't, because I feel like it has to continue to be pushed because they can't have people looking the other direction. And that's, again, just my opinion, by design. Like Mike said, yeah, good point. The whole thing is by design.
Yeah, it's by design. And I just saw somebody say that the chat is on fire, which I'm not doubting. I mean, we got 1,200 people in here. If you guys have not hit that like button, please do. Show Dago some love. Show the Hive some love. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Discord Dawn is reporting only half of you have hit it. Come on. It's free. Leave some touch DNA on that like button. And I got a couple super chats real quick, Dago. KS Chess and Art says, there are handwritten notes from MPD that state en route at 8 a.m. Then below that, arrived at scene at 8:53 a.m. It is detailed what they did. Also, the real 911 had to have been before 8 a.m.
Interesting. Now, I'll say one thing. With Outcast proved that the times on the body cams and different things are absolutely, it's not a big deal to change that stuff up. So
no, it's not. And like, if you ever have edited with CapCut or Canva, but guys, these are tools that cost $19 a month.
Right.
Like, and I'm doing it with my fat fingers on an iPhone.
Yep.
I don't know.
I heard somebody bring up the military, that a lot of the stuff that's come out, that they believe that the audio, the videos that were being doctored and stuff could have been dealt with by the military per se. And I said, well, that would make sense, because they have absolution. They have absolutely the technology that you would need to do stuff like this that people couldn't look into in the background and find the truth with. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course. So. And Murky Piglet says, think about it also. Who and how does BK have 200,000 plus donations to him? Like the court said already,
yes.
His parents aren't made of money.
They don't have that kind of money. They don't at all.
man, I don't want to distract from the military comment you just said, but remind me after I make this point to go back to that. Okay, please.
No
I think
problem.
that BK's parents, so you had said you talked to the custody queens and you got them coming up on your show if you want to plug that quick.
Yeah, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's
They're
right.
going to be joining me, and we're going to be getting into all this stuff. They're amazing. If you guys have not subscribed to them yet, please check them out. Custody Queens Off the Clock, Sam and Kristen, amazing shows, guys. And you had them here, didn't you?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
They do
So-
amazing stuff. I appreciate them very much. So I hope to see you guys there for that as well.
Absolutely. And I said this in the beginning. I'll say this again. I'm a complete idiot when it comes to what I'm about to say next. I've also, at one point, I thought the Taj Mahal was in Russia from a childhood memory that I never looked into.
I
confused it with the Red Square, which, again,
I
all
get
comes
it.
back to like NORAD Santa Tracker. It's a long story, Hive. But when I'm talking to the custody queens about the lawyer you know, I took it literally.
Yes.
For
I
the
get
lawyer you know. Okay, no, it's not. It's a different appellate attorney. I messed it up. It's still going to be epic on Wednesday. Ron is one of 6 people in California that holds dual license. He's
You talking
super
about
excited.
Ron Funk?
Yes.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, he was just on their show, I think, not that long ago, but he's going to
Yeah.
be here. So that'll be about Brian Koberger's legal route in the appellate courts. And that's going to be wild because a lot of people ask about that. What now?
Yes, I can't wait for that one.
So apologies for my miscommunication. I didn't know what to really say when I was texting them after that stream. And they're like, I keep my phone on DND during the streams. And I read that and I'm like, oh my God. I see people on X like, and in the lawyer, comments like, I can't wait till you're on Birdie Hive. I'm like, oh my God. This isn't even the same lawyer that they're talking about. They're talking about Rod.
Oh, okay. So you were thinking it was Tragos,
Peter
right?
or Paul or
Pete,
something like that.
Tragos, yeah. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, because they're like, yeah, we employ him. And I'm like, what?
He
What a
works for
small
them.
world.
I didn't know that.
Ron does.
That's
But-
great. Yeah.
Whatever. I see what
you're saying.
Yes, I want to clear that up. But so anyways, go back to Brian Koberger's parents, go back to Dylan and what Sam had said from the custody queens. This is like, what? Now you're asking me to believe that you not only didn't hear anything, but that you're not normal.
Yeah.
Right. Brian Koberger's parents, you can apply that same thing to, in my opinion. Now I understand. I was lucky enough. I grew up with 2 parents that they would believe me.
Yeah.
Right. Like they took my word. They had my back. Right. Not
Sure.
to a fault, but
Yeah. No, I got you.
if I said, Mom, Dad, I didn't do this,
Yeah, they believe you. Right.
they would believe me. So people could say, oh, they're being threatened, so they have to shut up. I think that's a real possibility, but I believe that they wouldn't be left out to dry. So then they maybe behind the scenes, they're getting some sort of help. People that are uninvolved with this,
Mm-hmm.
people that have no money, their son is a public defender. I mean, I don't think the feds, although they might railroad people, I don't think that they would just willingly let that happen. If they're,
I can agree.
we wouldn't know about it. The other part too, Dago, is like, what do you say to people that maybe like we talk about whether it be a psyop, some operation, this big giant drug bust. What do you say about the people that are like unable to wrap their heads around the fact that it's not going to have this grand reveal?
They're afraid. They're scared, in my opinion. They're afraid to, in my opinion, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. Everybody knows me, knows I don't say things to attack people. But here's the thing. It's scary. It's scary to believe that the things that comfort us on a day-to-day basis, law enforcement, the court systems, the guilters, they believe when the police arrest somebody that's what it is. When the court says something, that's what it is. And they don't like to look at the other side of the other possible other side to that coin, and because it's scary to them, it's not the norm. So therefore, in turn, they're just going to deny it. It's easier to do that, and you feel safer that way, I think. And that's unfortunately a lot of societies like that. I know people that are that way. I have neighbors that are like, there's no way anybody did this but him. And I said, why do you think that? Well, because that's what they told us. And I said, okay, have you looked at any of the documents? Have you looked at any of the evidence or their lack of any of that? Well, no. And I said, there you go.
Yeah. Are you under the influence of any substance right now? That's what I would say to them.
Right. Yeah.
Are you out of your ass drunk or high?
Yeah.
Because you're going to tell me this kid did it. Show him the Costco video of him walking in. I've
Right.
made the joke. I'm like,
Right.
you got Frankenstein's awkward nephew shuffling around
Yeah.
into Costco.
Right. With not a mark on him, bro. Not one mark on him.
Dude, shout out to Outcast for this because he blew my mind in the live stream on what was that, last week, Thursday or something. He said, because I was showing all these different pictures of Brian Koberger. I'm like, bro, he looks different. And then I showed also how ironic is it that Ashley Banfield had somebody create a deep fake of her voice. And she's like, I feel like you could just frame somebody for murder.
Yeah.
Like, wow, isn't that funny?
She's an idiot.
Yeah. So, but Outcast, I was talking about why are they showing so many different pictures of it? And I just randomly said, I'm like, same thing with like Ethan. Why are they showing somebody like 8th grade photos? Freshman year photos.
Yes.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. And I was like, damn, bro, you're on fire with that. That makes so much sense. I even said that back to some other people. I was like, I never thought of that. And then I went back and I started looking. I'm like, he looks like a baby. Okay. And that makes this so much more believable that Brian could have done this, because look at him. You know,
right.
you see Ethan 3 days or 4 days before this happened in a photograph. The dude's a beast.
6'4", mustache, grown ass man.
Yes, that's a man. That ain't a little boy.
No, so you show the 8th grade picture, the pre-puberty, like little kid that looks like Brian Koberger could mess him up. But if you saw him today, and you see the skinny picture of Ethan behind the boat on a wakeboard.
Yep. And I'm telling you right now, Bertie, I think there's some photographs that were put out of Brian that were enhanced to make him look more buff. And I'll say this because I don't know if you know who Willie is from Truth Nation Uncensored. Willie went to school with him, and he lived in the area with Brian. Okay. And he was like, dude, that is not what Brian looked like. Brian is not that buff. Brian is not that big. And they're making him look like this big badass dude. He's lanky. He's skinny, you know? And I said, and he was like, why are they doing that? And I said, well, come on, you know? And he's like, oh yeah. So makes perfect sense. They've done it in both aspects, in my opinion. You got to make the narrative work. The propaganda train tooting on through.
Guys, also too, they could either enhance it to make him look more evil. I don't know about you, but dude, I think it's criminal. I have a conspiracy that not many people talk about. I think that TikTok, when you go to edit the thumbnail, part of your video that you're about to post, I'm convinced you could have it like you go to like edit the preview or whatever it is, and you find a picture of yourself where it's not like your mouth's not wide open or you're not eyes closed.
Yeah.
And you get it perfect. And then you exit out of it and you're like, it goes back to it. I'm convinced that TikTok does that purposely to keep you on the app longer.
It could make sense. Yeah.
Like,
it would make sense.
I don't know, but they could like they could screen grab, you know, a certain angle or a face. Like, I just think that same thing with the victim, the digital footprint in general of people that were born in the 90s or later.
Yeah.
Youth sports teams, honor rolls, newspaper clippings, local fairs, towns, whatever it is, like nothing. I said, did Brian Koberger exist before 2015?
That's a good point. It is, truly it is. You got to wonder shit like that at this point because of what has taken place. You know what I mean? And don't forget, okay, and don't discount AI now. Okay. AI, I heard you say in a show before that you fell for some AI stuff. Don't feel bad because I have too, because they've gotten to the point where they can do it so well.
I froze for a second, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And thank God my mouth wasn't open. Where my mic is, if I freeze with my mouth open, I start sweating and I'm like, oh my God, get my face off the screen.
Yes. No, all I was saying was don't discount AI nowadays and the way that the things it can do. And I've heard you say before in the past that you've fallen for AI stuff, as have I, okay? Because they've gotten it to the point where it's so good now. You know what I mean? And it's like, damn. So they can do anything they want nowadays. Anything they want.
Dude, one of the trippiest things to think about too is you think of like special effects they use in the movies, right?
Yep.
Dude, go watch Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, I know.
What year was that? What year was that made in?
It was in the 90s sometime. I want to say 95, maybe 94,
Dude.
95, somewhere around that realm. My kids were like really young.
I mean, you see some scenes where you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
That looks like how you'd think it would look.
Yes.
Without even seeing it.
So. Very much so.
And I've always said too, I know that at least for the people that are a part of the Hive, and again, the conspiracy theorists, AI, this public facing version that we've had, is probably like 10 to 15 years behind the curve of what is available to.
That's why I brought up the whole military aspect to that. Yes, I agree with you. There's too many things they can do that we have no access or aspect of knowing. I agree.
It's a digital war, bro. That's what this is.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a digital and a genetic genealogy war.
Yep.
And it can all be fabricated.
Sure.
With artificial intelligence.
They can fabricate anything, Birdie. Anything they want. This entire thing could have been fabricated. Okay. I'm not saying it did, so don't anybody run off with that. But
I get what you're saying, though.
The whole thing could have been fabricated for all we know.
I'm sure that our government has never conducted false flag operations to get us into wars before. I'm sure that's just a giant conspiracy. I'm sure that we've never ran coups in other countries to give ourselves a political advantage. And
of course not. No.
Dude, the other part that I don't think people talk about enough, like you have the main stuff, like the timeline, you have the DNA, the lone wolf narrative is so old and outdated. That's one of the biggest things that for me is always this, my like spidey senses go off whenever I see this lone wolf weirdo.
Of course.
And then the lack of answers surrounding them. Who are they? Where did they come from? What motivated them? Yeah, I'm surprised there's not a manifesto from Brian Koberger. Instead, there's just papers laying out exactly what happened to him.
Yeah. He wrote his own story, dude. It's crazy if you look at that.
Let's do a poll here, Dago, in the chat.
Yes,
sir. All right. Okay, help me think through this. And don't answer this yet, Hive. One would be PSYOP. 2 would be frats and university. 3 would be drug hit. 1 PSYOP, 2 frats and universities, 3 drug hit. Go. And I'm gonna. So we Dago says 1 through 3. Yeah, I see all the above. 1 and 3.
Yeah.
There's a decent amount of 2s. 3s.
Could be. And I mean, they could be involved in it. They could have used them for certain things.
Man, this chat's flying. I can't even click them. So now I
just a lot of people here tonight, bro. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome.
You guys are all awesome. Every one of you guys for being here.
Yeah, they are. Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I've seen the most of 3s and 1s, but there's a good amount of 2s.
Right.
The motive, if you want to go for like a complex cover up, the motive of the purchase of the University of Phoenix already kind of going awry with $685 million, and then and then you look at Josh Hurwitz works for that same firm now. We haven't touched on Josh Hurwitz at all tonight.
We talked about him a little bit recently. People were asking, he was brought in. They said he was brought in to control the backdrop of the psychiatric evaluation for Brian. And I said, no, he wasn't. That's not at all what his forte is. Come on. Like, that has no bearing on this at all. But okay, you tell your story.
You're going to bring Josh Hurwitz in for a loner wannabe serial killer? No. And then, okay, so here's what I think we should do, Dago. If you're cool with this, let me know. If you want to talk about something else, that's fine too. But I was going to say, why don't we take some questions from the chat and we can put them up on the screen? And while the questions start to come in,
yes,
let me say this. Why do you think Brian Koberger would ever consider a plea deal with no solid motive, no confession? The murder weapon has never been found. There's gaps in the timeline. There's all this national attention that people are saying this. Is it because he knows it doesn't matter? Because
Good point.
He's never supposed to go to trial. Like a true undercover person would never go on trial. I mean, I don't know.
That's I'll say right now that I do believe this was never, ever, ever supposed to go to trial. Ever.
Yeah. I don't think it was either. I think it was delayed strategically too. I think that
yeah,
in a way too, the leaks could have been leaked to make it look real.
Sure. 1,001,001%. I agree with that.
Right. All right.
Like
let's see some of the questions. Go ahead.
Like I said earlier, that what are the odds? What if Brian was supposed to go to jail? What if he was supposed to go to prison? You know what I'm saying? And that's what the whole basis to this whole thing was. So, I mean, there's that too. Just saying.
And he damn near wrote a proposal to do it.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Guys, oh my God.
It doesn't make any damn sense, dude.
It feels weird to come out and say that the crime that we were told happened not just nothing like we were told, but like miles and miles and miles down the, like so far apart.
Right.
That it is impossible to find the truth in it, because if you don't want somebody to solve the puzzle, what do? You scatter the pieces and you throw 30% of the pieces into the river and they float away forever.
That's it. Bingo.
And if you find them, they're waterlogged and they're all misshaped.
Just like their broken refrigerator, the fire, all of that stupid shit that doesn't, I mean, come on. None of this makes any sense, dude. And I mean, like, yeah, it's just insane to me. It truly is. It truly is.
So we just got a question. Love and other habits. I'm still getting used to the username, the new username here. Birdie, you need to invite a crime scene cleaner on the live. Let them review the. Oh my God, that is genius.
It is a very good idea. Very good idea. I like that a lot.
Anybody know a crime scene cleanup, or is anybody in here?
Actually, I might know. I know somebody that works for ServPro, and they do that kind of stuff, but do they do it in a, like, within the legal aspect of it? I don't know. I'll have to get a hold and ask her.
Man, that's just, and Leela, thank you so much for the super chat. Don't laugh out loud, but I heard on TV he's appealing his plea deal. When did you hear that, Leela?
Yeah, where and when? I've never heard that yet.
I'm Googling it right now.
If he is, it's about time. Baracoa, his dad owned a cleaning company. Yeah, I don't know that he would. I doubt that he would come on and say anything, but let me write this down so I can remind myself.
Yeah, and please do. And if you have an in,
yeah,
I would love to connect again on that. Yeah.
We'll bring you on board with that for sure, because that's a great idea, truly.
You know, it's so weird. Like, dude, look at this. Brian Koberger appealing his plea deal, 11/19/25, and there's three articles. How does Google not populate for this subject all other random shit?
Right.
3 articles, nothing else.
This is that's a rumor I'm sure that they took and ran with.
But I'm saying, like, how does other articles about Brian Koberger not just pop up?
Right. No, it should. I think I remember Nancy Grace doing a show where she talked about that, where she made it sound like it was a fact and it was basically just a theory she had.
You know, if I saw Nancy Grace walking down the sidewalk and then I saw, like, the ugliest stray cat on the other side of the sidewalk, I would probably go and try to pet the ugly stray cat than
before saying hi to the disgraceful. Yeah, I would too.
Yeah.
I would. Same with her, Skeletor, Enton, all of them. They've gone so down in the hole, bro. It's sickening to me. All for a paycheck.
I've said it is embarrassing to me
Yeah.
that Ashley Banfield and Brian Enton on their resume will have the fact they talked about a dude's love handles. And like Outcast said, like, you got a thumbs up picture?
Yes.
You got pictures of this guy's butt?
Right.
Like,
Right.
that's all you got on him?
That's crazy. It is absolutely insane. Yeah, I can't handle Skeletor's the worst to me. Disgraceful's bad, but Skeletor, she says some nasty, ignorant shit, dude. Talking about how she hopes she gets
people are asking you who Skeletor is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Trashley Smashfield or Ashley Banfield. Sorry, I can't help myself. I can't stand her, bro.
I can't stand that Keith dude from Dateline either.
Oh, I know.
Sitting there like,
Yeah.
I never understood, dude. This is just a random thing. I don't get in general. It could just be a lack of flexibility. Maybe they got no balls. How do they cross their legs that high up? It's sick.
Right.
I don't understand it. It's always like, it's just like, that can't be comfortable. Do you get to a certain age and that's just how you do it?
I hope not, because I don't want to be able to do that ever. I don't.
And it's like the same stance. And it's just, not to talk about like, I'm not trying to talk about, I've made the joke like Keith and his old balls. Like, I don't mean that literally in that context, but I'm saying like Keith has been, there's people that have watched dude for decades, bro.
Decades. You ain't lying. Yes.
And this is how you go out?
It's that paycheck, brother. That paycheck's got to get bigger and bigger. But it's got to, and then you got these people coming out making their own channels on YouTube and just making it worse. Like, are you serious? Come on.
Bro, I have a theory on that. And that is like, you know, we've all said the mainstream media is dying. Why aren't they changing?
Of course.
Because at the same time that we say that, there is a large part of like older generations that's just like what it'll be. That's just what it's going to be.
Yes.
Right. But I don't think that they haven't adapted. And I'm going to explain this. So, for example, Ashley Banfield goes and she's going to create her own YouTube channel. But she has all of the News Nation branding.
Of course. Of course.
So how can she do that if that's her personal channel?
Same way Enton did it, the same way Vinny's done it, the same way, what's her name? The other Angelina Levy, they've all done it. And I promise you that they're all being supported by their main channel, bro. I absolutely get it.
That's what I mean. They've just they've put their, sorry, I was just going to say, they've essentially taken their show on the road to a platform that makes it seem like they're just like you and I, Dago.
Yep. That's why they did it right there, because this is where everybody's eyes are. They don't watch mainstream anymore because they know it's all bullshit now. So in turn, we need to get you guys out here on YouTube to get this growing this way. And we'll bring those people back to News Nation and Court TV and Law and Crime and all that stuff. That's 100% what that's about, in my opinion.
And let's finish up on this topic here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
For people that are still watching the mainstream news, my question is, how or what would it take to like shock? Because I'm going to back up. I didn't give enough of like a preamble. Here's my point. People have said, like Steve G in the victim impact statements, there are people that still are repeating like they were asleep.
Yeah,
they're still reporting on these like very like early on reports that the documents they just It's not even a debate, right?
Yeah, they're still calling all that out. The stalking, he cleaned his car with bleach, everything that's been proven wrong. So yeah,
the Mad Greek, all this shit.
Yes, all of it.
My point is, where I'm going with this question is like, why would they say that? Well, there is a benefit to the narrative to do that because people like you and me, people in the Hive, people that are into this case and look at it through a skeptical eye and a skeptical lens, we are like not just the minority in it, we are like fractional.
Yes. An eighth of the minority. Yes. I agree with that.
And so it does help continue to enforce the narrative when they say that, because look at like the conversations that you said, like with your neighbors, if you talk to them, or like I've talked about like up north, I was sitting around up north. There's like 25 people around this bonfire And it was like the weekend that Koberger took the plea deal, and I brought it up, and they're like, who is that?
Who is that? Yep.
I'm thinking to myself, like, do you guys live under a rock?
That's what I've said too. There's people I was really blown away by that. Bill Thompson made that statement where he stated it as a fact. Like, there's a lot of people that don't know about this, and I'm like, shut up. There's no way. I've spoken to people that are like, Brian, who? And the Idaho what? And I said, you're what? It's crazy to me, but okay.
I'm curious too. Like in the Hive right now, again, there's like 1,200 people in here. Is there anybody that thinks Brian Koberger is guilty that's tuning in? I'm curious because so last night I was saying I had just, I had Sammy T and then I had Brandon who he's just wild. He's a wild dude, but he knows a lot. He's just his approach is different. He didn't know that much about the case, but I said, I like that. Yeah. I'd rather talk to somebody that we don't end up just living in this echo chamber.
That's it too. And like I said, I was getting ready to say, I know this is your channel, but anybody that does think that Brian's guilty, don't be afraid to speak on that, because everybody should have the ability to stake their feelings on this. I on my channel, I absolutely allow that. I will argue, the points that are brought up if they do it, but most of them don't bring it up. Damn it, Jeff. I'll say that again.
God damn it, Jeff.
Right.
Oh my God.
We've all experienced that, bro. And he just won't listen. So it is what it is.
You know what? There was a part of me, funny enough, out of all clips for my mom to see. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So my mom, she'll tune in every now and again, whatever. She subscribes. Right. Yeah. She calls me and she'll never bring, YouTube up right away. But she was like, who's this Jeff fella? And
I've been there. Same conversation with my mother, dude. Same exact conversation a year ago.
I mean, dude, and honestly, I'm actually grateful that happened, because it just ripped this Band-Aid off of me. I was being a little bit too nice to clear shit talk,
I did it for almost 3 years, and he's had multiple accounts that he's come in, and I always gave him the benefit of the doubt. And as soon as I would let it ride, my mods are like, damn it, DAGO again, and boink, there he goes. And then he gets mad at me, and I'm like, dude, stop pushing people the way you do.
Yeah. Well, dude, it's just it's remarkable. And you got to have a spine. You got to stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll kind of wrap this up on, and then I'll let you say some closing thoughts. But we may never know the answer to this, but we can lay our heads on our pillows at night knowing that we looked into this, we studied it, we came to our own conclusions, we critically thought about it. We've had people that disagree. We've had this ability to converse, which I know is a big word for some fluoridated NPCs out there.
Yes, it is.
They don't know how to have a debate. They can't get past the emotional, that feeling of emotional instability when you disagree with somebody. Their brain shuts off and they start to just attack you. Shout out to everybody that doesn't necessarily agree with me or with DAGO, or I don't agree with you.
Yes,
it's important. It's a giant problem in our society that we can't get past this initial disagreement when we're having a conversation. We're doing that. We know that this case has not been easy to continue to talk about, yet here we are. We're going to see it through. Grand reveal, no grand reveal. Truth comes out. Truth doesn't come out. I genuinely feel like this case has woken so many people up.
Definitely.
And I just want to give a shout out to everybody, not only just for people that have tuned into the Hive, but DAGO, I watched you back before I even started posting stuff. So, to people like yourself that have been on this, and if you got anything to say, I got your channel up here on the screen where people can find you.
I just want to, first off, thank you for having me. Thank you to your community for welcoming me with such love. I appreciate that very much. I want to thank the meatballs that popped in here tonight, my blue crew that popped in here tonight, and for them for supporting you as well, because a lot of them do. And I love that. And that's one big thing, guys. I will say that I'm grateful to see that there's many of us that are coming together, because we're all looking for the truth at the end of this. And there's a handful of people out there still that are, God damn it, Jeff. Okay. But there's so many more of us that are coming together now. And I love that. I love that because that's what we need, guys. We need truth for these victims. We need truth for their families and real justice. Okay, that's why I'm still sitting here having this conversation. So I want to thank all of you guys that follow Birdie, that follow myself, that follow Bronx Tales and Lana and all these other channels. I know I'm forgetting others. I'm sorry. And listen to Drew Bledsoe throw the stuff out that he does, because he likes to put it out there, bro, and he's got some very good points. I tell you that much.
Yeah,
but
true.
yeah, I'm just saying, I want to thank you all for supporting us the way you guys do, for wanting to hear what we want to hear. Okay, because that's what it's all about in the end, is truth. So Birdie, I appreciate you, bro. I really do. This was a long time coming, and I can't wait to do it again.
Absolutely.
And of course, Friday, guys, please tune in if you will. I think my link was dropped a couple times in here. Stop by Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Custody Queens are coming by. They're amazing, guys. Please make sure to subscribe to their channel as well. I love those two. They're great. So yeah,
absolutely.
Very
Well,
excited.
and at the end of the day, man, to sum it up, nobody's coming to save us. All we have is each other. And I will be back on tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Central, with another epic guest. I have Sue Revelation Tarot. That has been a highly, highly requested guest to have in the Hive. I've been sent so many psychic and medium readings. I've gone to a psychic a handful of times myself. So although I may not show that on the stream, I've said the reason why is because I believe that you have to watch those readings in the entirety. They're long, and you have to take
we just watched one today, dude. So yeah, I agree with you.
But yeah, Sue will be in the Hive tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. I'm stoked for that. I know that I don't even want to spoil it. Okay, we've been emailing. It's going to be epic. So if you guys have not hit that like button on the way out, I would appreciate that. And I will see you tomorrow. Dago, you're the man. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Absolutely. Keep doing the great things, my friend. I appreciate you.
Yep. Cheers, everyone. Have a great night, Hive. See you tomorrow. Peace.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.